Would you be able to identify an intimacy stalker? What about a stalker who is incompetent? Stalking is a pretty serious crime, and it's taken us a lot of years, at least, I'm going to say maybe between 20, 30 years, and that's just an estimate, for all 50 states within the United States to be able to hold stalkers accountable. It wasn't until multiple stories of stalking occurred that the United States began to jump into action to figure out what to do to rectify the issue. It's not something that you can just experience 1 minute and completely detach from the next minute. Stalking takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot from you in terms of your willpower, in terms of your freedom, right? And just your psychological freedom. It traps you because you are afraid. You're uncertain as to what this person may or may not do. And if it's a family member, you're really confused as to why they've chosen you as the victim. Let me introduce myself really briefly in case you're new to this channel. My name is Tamara. I'm internationally and I'm board certified as a trauma therapist. I'm licensed in mental health. I specialize in treating children, teens, and families, as well as adults who are dealing with trauma in my private practice. Let's jump in. So I'm usually in my office, but tonight I decided to go home early. So my environment is a little bit different, okay? So bear with me. You'll see me back in the office in some of my other videos. So let's just jump into this topic of stalking, okay? Let's just start with the 4 categories of stalking. Now, research suggests that there are various reasons for why people decide to utilize stalking as a way to harass, control, and to keep you down as a victim. So we really aren't able, especially in this short video, to narrow down some of the reasons why stalking happens. But what we can do is identify the 4 kinds of stalkers, the 4 categories of stalkers. And then we can also talk about the variety of stalkers that there are. So the profile of a stalker. Let's start with category number 1, which is the celebrity stalker. Now, the celebrity stalker is an individual who goes online and stalks whoever they believe has celebrity status. That could be anybody from Jim Jones all the way to Dr. Martin Luther King. It could be Beyonce and Rihanna. It could be a football player, a basketball player, or it could be a famous YouTuber, right? It could be anybody that they consider to be a celebrity. And what they do is they watch the celebrity, they obsess about the celebrity, they ruminate. Ruminate means that you constantly think of something over and over. It's like thinking of something in a loop, right? And you think about it so much that it becomes a part of you. And so then you become obsessive. Usually, in order to control an obsession, you end up acting on the obsession, setting out to get to your target. And so a celebrity stalker is somebody who may go to concerts all the time to meet up with Rihanna and Beyonce, for example. They may, put this person's photos all over their home or in a secret cabinet or in a basement, and everything is covered with everything that they've ever done, all of their photos, right? They may have dreams about them, they may fantasize about them, and they may even bring them so close to their life that they pray for this individual, and they really start to kind of take on the personality of the person that they are interested in. And it can get so bad that they become an erotomanic, which is basically it's a delusion. So an erotomanic stalker, this is a person who believes that the other person, because of a delusion, a false belief that's held to be true, they believe that the other person loves them, that they are meant to be, that they're supposed to be in a relationship together, right? So this kind of celebrity stalker can get really sick. Now, the next kind of stalker is a stranger or an acquaintance stalker. An acquaintance stalker, this is the individual that you bump into at Walmart, at Target, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you coming around the corner. I apologize. Let me pick that up for you. And that stalker just immediately becomes infatuated with you or interested in you. And next thing you know, they're asking for your phone number, or they keep going down the same aisle in the store that you're going to. They somehow meet up with you in the parking lot and get your Twitter handle, your Snapchat, your phone number, your text, and then they start texting you and contacting you. And then before you know it, you can't get rid of them, right? The next kind of stalker is a cyber stalker. We're all well aware of this. Cyber stalking is just as intense as cyberbullying. It is going online, choosing a platform and constantly following that person over and over again. That could be Twitter, it could be Facebook, it could be YouTube, it could be Snapchat, TikTok, the list goes on, Instagram, whatever it is. They go to it, they use it, they do whatever they want to do on that social media platform, and you begin to feel harassed and overwhelmed. The intimate partner stalker, and this is the person who has had an emotional and sexual experience with you where, let's say you just broke it off. You didn't feel like you guys were clicking. You didn't feel like you wanted to be in a relationship with them anymore. Maybe the marriage didn't work out. Maybe, the dating relationship wasn't so hot for you or so healthy for you or so good for you or stimulating. And you said, you know what, I give up, right? We're not going to be in this relationship. Well, this intimate partner stalker could start to stalk you every day, all day, call you nonstop, call you and hang up, threaten to harm you, accompany you to places, but only in a creepy way, right? A way to kind of keep their eye on you. The list goes on. Categories of stalkers have a profile, and I'm going to bring them up in a little bit here, but the profile of a stalker really tells you what kind of a stalker that you're dealing with, and it also helps you plan ahead of time. So let's say, for example, you have a celebrity stalker and you're a news reporter, for example, or you're on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, something's going on. You know that you need to keep your social media pretty tight. You also need to keep your family aware of where you are and when. You can kind of just say, hey, I'm here just in case you need me. Let them know where you are, right? So that's kind of like preparation, and you can only prepare if you know what you're dealing with, right? Which is why the profile of a stalker is important. It's who they are, how they stalk, and why they stalk. So who they are, how they stalk, and why they stalk. The first kind of stalker that you're likely to see is a rejected stalker. That's the stalker who you have said, I want nothing to do with you. Here's my boundary. Please leave me alone. And they continue to stalk you. That could be somebody that you're romantically interested in. That could be somebody that you dated, you married, and they don't know how to let go of you. It could be a best friend. It could be a family member, and they don't know how to just leave you alone. So what do? They harass you, they stalk you, and that is categorized as the rejected stalker. The next profile is the intelligent stalker. This is a stalker who is really smart in how they do things. They're really cognitive, brainy, right? They think things through, and they may be rather sneaky and smart in some ways, to the point of outsmarting you because they've just thought about it so much and they've obsessed about it so much. Intelligent stalker tends to be the individual that has no social skills whatsoever. Okay, they come across as awkward and odd, but they're very smart. There's also the motivated stalker, and that's the stalker who seeks revenge, right? You've broken up with them, you've told them you didn't want to be their friend, you left the workforce, you don't want to work in that particular job anymore, and they take it personal, right? The motivated stalker is motivated to harass you and stalk you no matter what. Their goal is to gain power and control over you. It's to get you back, to seek revenge, to make you uncomfortable, or maybe just to make you feel some of the things they felt when you left that job. You also want to think about the obsessed stalker. That's the stalker who's just simply obsessed. And if you have a stalker that has obsessive compulsive disorder, for example, now you're dealing with a whole other animal, right? Because obsessive compulsive disorder consists of two important things. One is the obsession, which is that constant thought that happens. You can't get it out of your mind. It's beyond your power, beyond your control. But then there's also that compulsion, right? You have an obsession, which is that repeated thought, and it causes you distress because you can't get it out of your mind. So then you do something, which is a compulsion, in order to reduce that obsession. So that compulsion may be something like, I'm going to call you 9 times and then hang up and that's it for the night. Or I'm going to call you 900 times and hang up. Or I'm going to follow your Twitter account and then try to see if I can find other social media accounts to follow. That is the compulsion, because they're trying to reduce their desire. So because they have obsessive compulsive disorder, they're going to have those two things at play, that obsession and that compulsion. You also want to consider the predatory stalker. That's the stalker who wants to have a sexual relationship with you. Maybe they are seeking to sexually assault somebody. Maybe they just want to get you upset because that gives them a rise of some kind that's stimulating to them. A predator is always somebody, a predatory stalker is always somebody who wants to do something to you that they have absolutely no right to do. The incompetent stalker is the individual who stalks, but they get caught every time. They're not very smart. They're not very cognitive. They're not very brainy. They don't know how to keep themselves out of trouble. They just sink into these ruts and into these holes, and they can't get out, right? This is the kind of individual who stalks and leaves their footprints in the snow on the side of your house. Their footsteps are not as secretive as they may think. A political stalker stalks somebody who is of political value, somebody who is really engaged in the politics of a city, of a state, of a nation, whatever, right? They have political power. A political stalker stalks political people that they either agree with or don't agree with. Their goal is really not power and control. It's just to express something most of the time, right? But it's still odd, creepy, and inappropriate. The next kind of stalker is the hitman stalker. And this is the stalker who stalks you for weeks, days, hours, because they have something that they want to do to you. They just don't have the right day and time. And so they're going to stalk you until they can get that day and time set in stone where they can do something to you. The intimacy stalker and the acquaintance stalker can sometimes go together. So let's say you run into an acquaintance stalker in a grocery store. You know, she thinks you're beautiful or he thinks you're intelligent. You could be really good on his podcast, or she thinks you're lovely and you could really be a good couple. You could get married one day. So you're an acquaintance. You run into each other in a Target, a Walmart, a Sam's, a Sam's Club, or wherever you go to shop or wherever you go to engage socially. They find you there. But then they also have this intense desire to be close to you, which is intimacy, right? Whether that's talking to you, being sexual with you, whether that's protecting you, being secure with you, being dominating, right? Because they don't want you to be around other people. These individuals don't know how to let you be free, and that's the sad part. These kind of stalkers are tricky, guys. I'm going to post in the description box below some of the videos that I've done in the past. It takes a lot of education and a lot of personal strength to understand who they are. If you want to learn more about stalking, go ahead and click into this video right here, where I give you a little bit of a breakdown and some conversation, as well as comments from the chat box on what to look for in stalkers. Thank you so much for being with me in today's video, guys. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell button if you want to stick around and get more videos like this. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.